Hello.
Hello.
Sash of wine resistance with a +2 to mana burn and extra defense against ice magic.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to #WINELADS, episode 6. As always, I'm Boomer.
And I am Thelonious Talmadge. But my friends call me Cal, and you can too.
We're here to talk to you about...
You guessed it, it is wine.
Natch. Cal, would you like to introduce our special guest today?
I would love to. I think with the last couple of episodes we've had special guests on. We've had Mr. Gaz Brookfield, and we've had Mr. Bob Baker, and I think we're enjoying having people on. They're enjoying being on, unless they're lying to us, which I don't think they are. So we're continuing with that trend. We're continuing with that trend, and we have yet another special guest. Now, this is a friend of the podcast, a personal friend to myself and Boomer. This is Daryl Sharpe.
Clap, 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 clap.
Hi, Daryl.
Hello, Boomer, and who I assume is a Jedi.
Well, I already forgot the name I introduced myself as, but yes, we go with Jedi.
All right.
No idea what you said, actually.
Welcome, Daryl. Thank you very much for taking the time out to join us.
Thank you for having me.
We're very happy to have you here, and we're very excited for you to be part of the WINELADS crew.
Am I the first lady wine lad?
You are the first.
Wow.
You are the first lady wine lad.
Would Bob call me a wine lush?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well done for remembering your own show.
No, I remember, but I just don't. I don't want to agree with him if that's the thing.
I think I might have been the one who instigated the wine lush. So, because I was drinking rosé. So.
We're drinking rosé.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Drink.
Yes, yeah. No. Welcome, Daryl. It's really, really good to have you here. Hope you've got your wine ready. We're just gonna. I mean, you've seen the show before. We're just gonna shoot the shit. No, we're just gonna chat, and then we're gonna talk about a little bit about the stuff that you do, because I know you do a lot of interesting stuff. And it's a chance for you to tell everyone about that, and then you get to plug yourself at the end as well.
Hooray! Not the camera though.
I realised how that sounded after I said it.
I was trying to behave and not say anything about that.
Okay, cool. So, yes, shall we all reveal our wines?
Indeed.
Yes.
So, ladies first.
Cal, can you guess what wine I've brought?
Is this the one that we discussed previously?
Is it? Is that your guess?
Is it Jam Jar?
No, yes.
Jam Shed.
Jam Shed. This is the only red wine that I like. I was only introduced to it a few months ago at a friend's house, and I think I had run out of booze, and they said, would you like some wine? And I said, oh, is it red? Because I don't like red. And they went, try the Jam Shed. And I tried the Jam Shed, and it's the best thing ever. It is, however, £8 a bottle at the co-op. So this is a real treat today.
Oh, there we go. See, I looked for, after you told me about Jam Shed, I did look for it online. I could only find it. I didn't look that far. I went on Amazon. I could only find cases of it, and it was really expensive to get like a whole case of them. So I'm glad you brought it on.
I'm pretty sure they do it in Waitrose.
At Morrison's, apparently it's quite often on offer, but I don't live near one of those.
Well, I do. So
I know that wine actually, because I've had it a few times before. My dad, when I went to visit him one point, just basically said, "Oh, I've got some bottles of wine for you. Do you want them?" So I then he gave them to me. It was 2 bottles of Jam Shed. He goes, "Me and your brother don't like them. Do you want them?" So they absolutely hate it. So he sent it to me because I'm also sorry, though, I'm not a big fan of it. It's too sweet.
That's why I like it.
Okay.
My dad then later sent me a text like apologising for giving me Jamshed.
I think it's the best red wine I've ever drunk.
The next time I went round there, he gave me a different bottle of wine to apologise for giving me Jamshed.
We're not friends. No, we are friends. No, differences are good. I should become friends with your dad, and then every time he gets Jamshed, he can give it to me.
There you
I don't
go.
think he's
Problem
ever buying
solved.
that again. I don't dislike it as much as he does. It's just a bit too sweet for me.
No, that's why I like it. That's why I'm excited.
Yeah. Cal,
Very
what have you
good.
got?
Okay. I'm going to take this off because I'm really warm. I just wanted to do it for the intro. And I'm wearing another Gaz Brookfield t-shirt.
Another Gaz Brookfield shirt.
So I actually bought this a couple of weeks ago, but then I think last time I did the white because I wanted to, do a different, move away from red a bit. I've gone straight back to red because that was wasn't a good. That was bad times. So I have a Trevento from Argentina. It's a Malbec. It's private reserve.
Ooh.
And it's a very... I put this against all the other wine bottles. Well, apparently not, yeah. I put this against all my other wine bottles, and it's slightly taller, which means more booze. Which it doesn't mean that because it's thinner, but also at the bottom, it says Mendoza, which just makes me think of The Simpsons. So already it's a winner in my book.
Nice. I have gone for a Rosario Syrah.
Ooh.
So let's have a good old fucking eyeball of that one there.
I thought it was an enchilada at the bottom.
So yeah, a Syrah, because I went to Lidl and had a wine chart on my phone because I like darker, deeper, bolder reds. So I had this I'll put it up in the pictures down below, and it has a whole scale of all the different types of wine and a color chart, lighter red to darker and darker and darker. So I just wanted ones in the bottom end of it, and I'd never had a Syrah before. Didn't even actually know what it was. So I looked it up earlier on. So it's towards the bottom end of the scale, and it turns out a Syrah is a Shiraz. It's the same thing.
Oh.
What is a Shiraz, please?
Shiraz is another type of wine. It's it's more rather it's the type of grapes that they are made of. So they're French originally. This is all from a YouTube video I watched earlier on. A French man did it, so I'm gonna take his word for it.
He's right.
So they then from the 1800s they had these Shiraz grapes, and then they started to export them to Australia. So then in Australia, the guy, it was I think a Scottish dude who took them there, and then this is what I'm vaguely remembering. It was Cal in the 1800s.
It would be, except Cal's not Scottish.
We're going to get into this later.
Yeah, so he took them there. Apparently he would constantly mislabel the barrels.
No, that sounds like Cal.
And would spell it wrong constantly. So then that combined with an Australian accent over the years has basically diluted the word Syrah to Shiraz. And so
That's
basically,
good. I like that.
if you find a bottle of Shiraz, it's likely it's from Australia or that area of the world. But if you have a bottle of Syrah, it's likely from Europe.
Huh.
There we go.
I enjoyed that.
I'm also going to turn that light off one sec.
I don't know what this is. A Shiraz as well.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, so I'm getting a lot of shine off my head today.
Yeah, I had my curtains open. Look at this.
Shall we do a pour? Have a little taste of wine, or go through the steps? Daryl, you get to go through the steps with us as well.
Please walk me through.
Yes. Okay. So we want to have a nice on-screen pour.
Oh, I say I've got a cork again today. After the fucking disaster was the last time I had a cork, I've actually bought myself a proper corkscrew, which looks like the dude from Return to Oz.
Love him. What's he called?
Oh, I can't remember. Don't tell me it doesn't work.
It's something creepy.
Great wine glass, by the way, Daryl. I remember those
wine
thank
glasses.
You.
You too, Carl. You too.
Has he got like a military name? Is he like a commander or a colonel or a major or something?
Yeah, because because he's got like the old World War One tin hat on, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But all I can think of is Cogsworth, and that's definitely Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, I've been looking forward to this all day. When I say all day,
yes.
I mean all week.
Yeah. Busy week. Another busy week.
Yeah.
I was good. You sent me the YouTube video of the wine tasting.
Yes, from sideways.
Scene. I started watching it, but then I had a work call, so I had to do that, and then I had a lot of work stuff to do, and I never got around to doing it.
Oh, so yeah, every week I mention the tasting steps because I learned them from watching Sideways, and then every week I forget what the point of it is and what I'm actually supposed to be remembering, so I never look it up again, and I finally did this morning.
And so talk us through. Talk me through.
The first thing you would do is to look at the wine. So you look at it, you tilt it, let the light sort of go through it. And what you're looking for here is, especially like, how sort of thick it is, the color as it goes around, so you can see if it's like slightly thin around the edges when you tilt it, which will help indicate the age of the grape.
Yeah, yes. Well, its thickness is watery, as expected. Its color is red, as expected. That's all I got.
Nice. Mine's like super dark. Yeah, no, like this is the most wine knowledge I've ever given on the podcast. You've seen them. I don't know anything. After that,
it does that thing a little bit that you don't get on cheap pink, which is what I usually drink, where it sticks to the side of the glass and drips down. What does that mean?
I think again that might be again, he didn't explain everything as to why these things happen. It's just what you're looking for. So I guess my next mission is to find out what the fuck any of this actually means.
Which one is good?
I guess older grapes would be better, I'd assume. Or like, I did read one thing once where a guy said like, rule of thumb for him is like he doesn't drink wine that's like under 3 years old. So I don't know how old this is.
Mine was from 2018.
Oh, I mean, mine was probably done last week. Like,
I don't know. There's not a date on it.
Is it? No, I'm kind of jumping ahead of you guys, but is it swirling next? I always forget.
Yeah. So next you give it a swirl. Actually, no. He did in Sideways. So he did it in 2 steps in Sideways. So he had a sniff first.
Oh, and then he
goes all the way in.
Yep, nose all the way in. Don't be shy.
You gonna do your line of wine?
I'm gonna try not to today. Although, is that what we're calling this step? The line of wine.
The line of wine.
Do a line of wine. And then if you give it another swirl, so that this oxidizes.
And that aerates it. And
well, that's what carafes are for, isn't it? What we should have done is open these about an hour ago.
Yes, but we don't. Yeah. Then you miss the pouring on the screen, and that's really what everyone wants.
Yeah, I was at work an hour ago, as you know. I usually
I was eating a very quick dinner an hour ago.
Except for our social things where it's acceptable. Anyway, so yeah, once you swirled it around a bit, give it another smell and just see what you can smell.
Same again.
That is
That's
sharp.
still wine.
Mine is quite spicy smelling.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit of. It's getting right to the back of my old nose there. It's very sharp.
I've got a feeling this is going to be quite dry.
Well, I feel like I've cheated because I know what it tastes like, although I haven't drunk it for several weeks. But to me, it all just smells very much the same. I'm quite pleased it doesn't smell like vinegar, and that is it.
There you go. I think I'm getting some blackcurrant in mine. I think
there's probably berries in mine. I'm going to assume grapes.
I'm gonna guess blackcurrant. I almost said cherry, but I'm gonna guess blackcurrant here.
I think I've got tasting notes on mine.
I'm gonna bloody swirl it around a bit more. I'm gonna try and do this properly. I'm gonna try and do what I used to do with my dad and guess what's in it and see how many things I can get right.
No tasting notes on mine. Yours, I believe, Daryl, is
Is
jam.
it cherry?
Jam. Jam. More jam. What does it say?
Oh, maybe it's
Rick,
Syrup
strawberry,
and
actually.
berries and
Sweet.
I can't. It's
Apparently,
yeah.
this
It's a
is
bit
good.
spicy. I'm not detecting any like deep chocolatey notes or anything. I'm gonna look at the back of the bottle and see what it says. Okay, no, I was wrong. I was wrong. I was going to say cherry, and my first instinct should have been right because cherries and raspberries, which I thought might be strawberry, because it was quite sweet smelling. But that's it. It's apparently this is just made of cherries and raspberries, nothing else.
I hate
Or
when
does it
mine
say
doesn't
anything
have.
else?
I hate when mine doesn't have tasting notes in it because my palate is so fucking shit that I can't really taste anything other than like wine. I can do sharp, dry, and spicy and bold, and that's about it. I have a really limited vocabulary when it comes to wine. Boozy's another one.
A wine podcast.
Yeah. Well, our selling point is that we don't know what we're talking about. Although I might
Yeah.
be ruining it. I don't know. I'm having to do this now because otherwise people are going to think I actually know what I'm talking about because I said something about where grapes come from and that stuff earlier.
Scotsman and mislabeling barrels and all that
Exactly.
very clever stuff.
And I mean, I listed it on Spotify as a comedy podcast. That's right. We're on Spotify now.
You're drinking. Can we drink it now?
Oh,
I
yeah,
haven't drunk
drink-
any.
We can drink now. We can drink now.
Sorry, I'm kind of just like barreling ahead. Ooh,
Oh, it's so good.
that has got a very significant aftertaste. Very
In a good way.
yeah. It's nice. It's quite bitter, but not too bitter. But it really lingers on your tongue. But it's also quite light at the same time. It's almost like a refresh. No, light's the wrong one. It's like refreshing, but it's kind of heavy at the same time, like some sort of weird stout.
All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense, actually. You look
Thank you.
confused, Daryl. I don't think you agree.
I just think Cal just threw a lot of words at us until we went, yeah,
That's whining. That's whining.
Yeah, that's how you whine.
that's whining.
That's whining.
Yeah,
That's
right,
how I
like
believe whining is done.
There we
I'm
go.
sure that's probably a real term.
I'm
I
sure
think
it is.
so.
Like
I think
antiquing.
so. And if not,
Exactly.
shortly it will be.
Yeah, there you go.
If it's too confusing for people and it sounds like, if you were to whine about something, let's call it vining.
Vining.
Oh,
No, that's
no.
also a thing.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay,
If
we'll
you
just
can
stick.
say what your wine tastes of in 6 seconds or less, that's vining.
Okay, we'll still with whining. Yeah, let's go. Let's whine. Let's not overcomplicate matters.
Cool. All right. So we've all opened our wines. We've done the swirling and the smelling and the tasting, and now we're drinking. Daryl, I'm going to pass it over to you. You are a jack of many trades.
I am.
You do quite a number of things in your spare time, including I don't know if it can count as spare time because technically it's a job. You work at the Blue Moon in Cambridge, which is a pub we've mentioned before.
I do. That is a job I have.
Yeah, that is a job. You also run or you co-run Silverwilt Promotions, which is a promotions company group.
Music promotions in Cambridge.
Yeah, so then you put on gigs and things like that, and
Many gigs.
you also do poetry as well. So we really just want to hear a little bit about that from yourselves and what you're doing, what you've been doing recently, what you've done in the past, a bit of everything really.
Yeah, so I would definitely consider myself a jack of all trades, master of very, very few. But that doesn't stop me. No, so I don't know how many minutes into this video people have to get before they can gather. I was a drama student. When I finished and my classmates at the time finished uni, we all felt this, which was years and years and years ago now, but we all felt this massive drama-shaped hole, and it was awful, and we all got very, very sad. So we came together, and that's how Desperate Fleas started, was a few of us and one of our old lecturers got together in the basement of CB2 in Cambridge and just went, oh, isn't it sad that we're not making things anymore? Shall we just make things together still? And then we did that maybe 3 times, and it was quite good. And then everyone kind of remembered that they had to have a real life and go and get a job, and like you couldn't just doss around for the rest of your life. But a few years later, I thought, why can't we just doss around for the rest of our lives? And that's where Desperate Fleas came back from. And eventually, yeah, it's what I would like to I'd like to do that kind of thing, and putting on music events. I just want to doss forever, and that's the way, as far as I'm concerned, is just running events and letting people get drunk and do poems and songs and stuff.
Yeah, tell them more about what Desperate Fleas is, because a lot of people won't actually know what that is.
That's a very good point. So Desperate Fleas, if I'm being very real with it, it's an open mic where anything goes. You can come and you can perform either poetry or readings. The part of the original idea of it when I brought it back was, love you guys, love you so much, but seeing a lot of boys and guitars, you got a lot of stage, and kind of the other is what I was most interested in, helping people to be able to portray. So the opportunity for people to go and practice reading their poetry, or people that are writing a book that want the opportunity to get some feedback on that, or people that are just trying to work into stand-up comedy. It's all fine and good to say go and get some experience on that, but actually if you're signing up for proper comedy nights, you've got to have yourself like 15-minute set. And what I wanted to do was be there for the people that have got like less than 3 minutes worth of stuff and want to know if that's something that they are going any good at and want to carry on. So that's where Desperate Fleas came from, was the idea of having a space with an audience where you could perform whatever you wanted, that it wasn't just going to be white men with guitars.
Yeah, which is me and Boomer have both been Desperate Fleas, and it is really it's the last Thursday of every month. It is.
It's the last Thursday of every month, apart from these ones.
Yeah, and obviously it's not happening at the moment, but me, Boomer, and a lot of people that we know have been to a number of Desperate Fleas. Both me and Boomer have performed at Desperate Fleas. We are, if you remember from the first episode, we are both white males. And
I remember that from my eyes.
Yes, you're right. I don't know why I said that in the first episode. That was really weird.
You also may have heard it with your ears.
Yes, and ears. But no, and it's really good. There is a number of different acts that I've seen come up, and there's a really diverse group of people, and it is really a lot of fun. And I cannot wait until lockdown's over and it starts up again, because it's so much fun. And I would highly recommend anyone listening to this or watching this or eating this, you should come when it starts up again. Search it on Facebook, and
we'll put links up in the description.
Yeah, Daryl, you'll get to plug it at the end, but it is really it's really a fun night. And
I sort of personally owe a lot to that as well. So I really thank you very much for putting it on, Daryl, because like before it all started, because I know I mentioned on here before that I like do some solo stuff and whatnot, and there was always a little bit of a confidence issue with me doing solo stuff, because I've been in bands for forever, and I've never. It may shock you to know I do have a lot of confidence issues sometimes. So despite being the bolshy dickhead I quite often am.
No. The word is very charismatic man.
Sorry, apart from being a very charismatic man.
That's not our word at all, is it?
And yeah, so it was, I kind of used Desperate Fleas almost like a sounding board. Like, is this something worth doing? Like, is it any good? And then I would like play a song every now and then there, and then kind of start doing it every time you would put one on. And now it's become like a sounding board for, like, if I've got a new song, I almost always play it at Fleas first. The only one I haven't is when I did that streaming gig for the Portland the other day, just because the only reason I did it there rather than at Fleas is because there isn't a Fleas on at the moment. So
Well, precisely.
I save all the
Precisely.
new ones and do them at Fleas first.
Yeah, rack them up, rack them up.
And also, you had your EP launch at Fleas Night, didn't you, as well, Boomer?
Yeah, exactly. So
It was.
you let me hijack the end of your thing because I'm just too lazy to organise an actual.
No, it was perfect because that night in itself was quite special for the other people that were putting stuff on, because the whole idea of that evening was we were working particularly with local students from ARU in Cambridge, who they were getting their teeth into this idea of running a campaign around students who deep quite soon, but like have been through trauma in their life and that would consider themselves to be survivors. And so I realized as soon as I sort of reached out that it was I think you got in touch with me, and then I put the numbers together and I went, yeah, that can work, let's do it. But it was a really nice way of rounding off an evening that had absolutely no bearing on, it wasn't just an EP launch. Like for me, it was very heartwarming because it was at my event, but also I think for the people that were there, it was a case of actually, yeah, we can get together when we can remember that we've been through some stuff, we're survivors. There's one maybe common theme that brings us together, but there's another common theme, and that's we're all in this room watching this man that we maybe don't know playing banjo, and it's fucking great. And that's like, it was just, I loved it. I was really pleased that we did that.
We had a tenuous link where, because that EP, all the proceeds of it go to Norfolk Greyhound Rescue, so they're all survivors as well.
Yeah, I made that work.
Yeah, you shoehorn that one in, just like, right, how can we justify this dickhead being here?
No, it was good. It was good. I really am passionate about the idea of there is a very easy way to understand where you go when something is finished, when it's polished. You know, at that point, you're just actually a touring artist of whatever kind. Where do you go in between your bedroom where you're just playing to yourself and your cat and your telly, to actually being on a stage and saying, yeah, I can do that? Like, who caters for that in between bit and lets you go out and make all these stupid mistakes and read really regrettable poems in regrettable accents? Like, who does that? And that's what I wanted to do, and I feel very proud that I get to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, good. And so you should.
Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, Desperate Fleas is just the tip of the iceberg, really, Daryl. I mean, you've, as we said, you're doing a lot of things. So, do you want to tell us a little bit more about Silverwilt Promotions? Or wait, no, sorry, I've got a new mic, so I'm going to do this. And for any ASMR lovers out there, hopefully you'll really enjoy this. Silverwilt Promotions.
I didn't like that.
That was very good.
I feel uncomfortable. Yeah. Well, I feel like I'm being like very like me, but
that's what you're here for. No one gives a fuck about us. They've heard us for like 5 episodes now. They don't give a shit.
Nah,
got nothing left to say.
This is a platform for you to, all stuff.
Do it.
Yeah,
unload on us. Do it.
Silverwilt's fucking great, right? You know, just then when I said everyone's got that little goal, if you then zoomed in on the goal and you went to like step 1, so like big stuff's over there, but like step 1, playing in a pub, that's Silverwilt. So please don't bring half-finished poems, but we do put on, not now, obviously, we put on 1 gig a month-ish, and we put on local performers. So we're based in Cambridge. We put on local bands and performers and link them up with bands and performers from like around the country. And it's a little bit like, shush, it's a secret, but actually this is kind of a networking opportunity. So like on the face of it, yeah, it's just a gig. Like come and like get pissed and like have a dance and watch some like either new music or a band that you already know and love. But underneath it all, it's very much like, oh, okay, now those bands have got each other as contacts now. And we know that out of that, some people have said, oh, can we do a swap with you? Like, we'll come down and play Cambridge. Can you sort that out? We'll have you up and you can come and play Manchester or whatever. And so that's what's nice about that. The thing about Silverwilt is really nice is that it wasn't initially my idea. I've taken it in as my little baby now. But the whole idea of that is like getting musicians together from Cambridge and all over and doing as best as we can to like pay everyone fairly, because it's a bit shit saying, A, does Cambridge have a scene? Is it a good one? I would say yes. But B, how many times in Cambridge and even further afield are musicians going to carry on paying for free to a route, like to a half full room? Like that's just not feasible and it's not fair. So yeah, run it with the guys from a band called Goldblum, which is also a Cambridge-based band. And moving forwards, there's a few things in the pipeline that I'm working on my own. And that is going to be one of those things that goes very much under my wing in the coming months and rest. Yonder. Yeah. Awesome. It's good. I really love doing them.
Good. Yeah, no, it's obviously love the guys from Goldblum as well. They're a really good band, Cambridge based, and just really nice guys. But yeah, no, I've also been to a couple of Silverwilt shows. A really eclectic bunch of different musical styles there that I've seen.
That's another thing I really like about it as well. Actually, it's I get very bored of going to gigs. If you go to a gig and all three bands are the same thing, then I don't really want to see that. It's because I've seen it once, and then by the time like the headliners or whatever you've got, like the main act,
what are you staying for at that point?
Yeah, I've seen this twice now. I'm now not excited anymore.
Yeah,
like follow a trend if you want, but like
yes, and that's what we do. I think is conversely, I've been to so many gigs where the first band, the middle band, the final band are all so far away from each other that you think, what the fuck did I just pay £8 for? Like I'm not enjoying myself. You've just thrown them together out of your mates. And I'm quite proud of the fact that we don't do that. We don't either just get three of the same bands. We also don't just go, who do we know who's free, and scramble to it. We just go like, okay, there's one that we like. We know they're free. Who will go with them? Who will complement it? Who will make the night go and make you feel as though you've arrived at a gig, you're halfway through, and then you're ready to leave. And that's really important to all of us running the Silverwilt shows.
Yeah. And I think that really comes across as well.
Yeah, it is cool when a lineup is like set up almost like, again, like a song, album or story or anything like that, where you actually see it as an entire piece. I don't know if anyone else thinks about lineups this way, but I do. And I absolutely love it when you have, so like, so you may not, you either have like a gradual sort of like build going up, or like you can either have like a big hit at the start, then you're like tail it off a little bit, and then like end up coming back up at the end. And it's something I don't think a lot of promoters think about actually when they do book bands.
Nice. Yeah. I remember, so one show last year, I had this, so I think exactly the same way, Boomer, like I really think about how the whole evening would go, because number one, like people might want to go home. We don't want that. I want people staying. I want people to like see everything that they came for and also get their money's worth, and also pay us a good amount so we can give it to the bands. I think that's really important. So last year, about midway through the year, I had this in my head. It was like the best lineup I'd ever thought of. It was only 3 bands, but they were going to sound so complimentary. It was going to be this whole pop punk thing. I was so excited. It was like pop punk, but also like clever. It was going to be a bit Jamie T. I was really excited. And because I thought of it well in advance, I thought, there's no possible way this can go wrong. I was wrong. Messaged these bands, felt really good about everything, thought, yeah, this is the most curated night I've ever going to put on. I'm going to be so proud. Got there, one band drops out, another band drops out, one band says they can't do it. You have to rebuild the whole thing. And by the end of it, you're like clinging onto the shreds of your night, going like, this is still what I wanted, I think. Like, so it's not without its difficulties, definitely, but it is a great deal of fun and really rewarding.
Awesome.
Cool. So Daryl, on the final point for you, we won't make you talk about yourself much longer.
Yeah, please.
But it's all good stuff. It's all gold, to be honest. You also work at a favourite pub of many in Cambridge. the
Yes,
Blue
I do.
Moon, previously known as the Man on the Moon, which actually, sorry, before you talk about it, I had an interesting story. I was actually, I was talking to a friend of mine who I work with, a colleague, friend, colleague. Shout out to John Wolf.
A frolic.
A frolic, yes. And I mentioned the Blue Moon to him, and he, in its transition between Man on the Moon and the Blue Moon, he was one of the ones who like painted and did the interior and stuff.
No
There
way.
you go.
Was he one of the people that squatted there?
No. He.
No.
And I
No.
didn't know that people squatted there in between, because apparently it was abandoned.
It was closed down, but it was.
Yeah.
I don't think it was like officially abandoned.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I obviously I don't want to say stuff that isn't true. Like I don't
I heard
know,
it was a crack den.
because I used to know
It wasn't a crack den.
back when it was
allegedly a crack den.
back when it was Man on the Moon. I used to know the guy. I lightly knew the guy. I knew people who knew him better than I did, who ran Man on the Moon. And yeah, that was it. That was the first time I ever heard about it. Shows how much attention I paid, to be honest. But yeah, no. When it was in, once they got all the squatters out and they did all the remodeling stuff, he was one of the guys who did it. So, and he's also been listening to some WINELADS. So the links all over the place.
Feels like a
Out
good
to your
guy.
colleague.
Anyway, Daryl, sorry, apologies. Continue. The Blue Moon.
I hadn't begun. Yes, yes, I do. Yeah, the don't know really what you would like me to say. I frequent behind the bar. I frequent in front of the bar, and it's where you should all go when lockdown is done.
How is it faring during lockdown? Obviously, you won't be working there currently because it'll be closed down.
Yeah, it's a funny one during lockdown because obviously all of the staff have been furloughed, but what they're trying to do, as well as the pubs that are owned by the same person, as well as a lot of pubs across Cambridge and the rest of the country, they are trying to make takeaway work. I think they're doing very well. Like in comparison, I mean, that was me like complimenting them, not saying that they're like filthy rich.
The pizzas look good.
Yeah,
I mean, the pizzas are good in there.
If you order a pizza from Tok, yeah, you get a personalised little box hand drawn by Sophie, who is the manager, who is hand making all the pizzas.
She's
and
great.
if you do come and get a pint, it will either be poured by Duarte, who is another supervisor at the Moon, or me, because I am one of the, because I'm only part-time and it won't impact on the amount that I get paid in terms of coming off of furlough. I'm one of the people that are trusted to go down and be able to do that. So I have been pouring takeaway pints.
Oh, cool. Okay, there you go. Nice.
It's nice because obviously, you know, the priority of all businesses at the moment is how we make sure that our full-time employees or the people that rely on it to pay their rent and their whatever else can still do so. So to take someone off of a full-time pay to put them on for like 2 days a week for 3 hours is gonna kill them. But it's my second job, so for me it's been lovely to go down and pour pints and, you know, see people from a safe distance across the table, and I've got hands like a lizard from all the hand sanitizing and everything, but it's been really nice.
Oh, that's good. I didn't actually realise that. That's really nice. So it means you are getting to kind of see people get out and be in a place that is beloved by all.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the reason that I work there is probably the same reason that you both go there, because it's just nice, isn't it?
Yeah, and the staff are fantastic.
Yeah,
the atmosphere is lovely. Yeah, if you know, when all this kicks off, if you haven't ever been to the Blue Moon and you're in the Cambridge area, around the Cambridge area, visiting the Cambridge area, go to the Blue Moon because it's got some fun beers.
In fact, as soon as you can, just go to all your nearby pubs first. We're fine. We've got loads of Cambridge mates, but if you're not Cambridge, go to your nearby pub, because it's very likely that friggin' Peggy and John that run the Swan down the road have probably suffered a little bit during this. So go and Go and get a pint there, and then come and visit Cambridge. And come.
There you go. That's better. That's better.
Also,
yeah. Okay.
Also, in general, one thing that people should do, and I'm not like telling you what to. I'm sorry, I'm telling you all what to do. So what you should do is all your local pubs and everything. A lot of them are now doing like various like takeouts and deliveries as well. So I got one of the locals sitting near, so I think it was Eaton Soken actually. I forget what the pub's name is. Sorry, pub. Maybe I'll put it below here if I remember. And yeah, I just like bought, instead of like going to Tesco or anything like that, I just had a delivery from them instead. And I ordered just like a case of, just a case of Charlie Wells, which has this like hipstery dickhead on the front of it, which I don't really like their rebranding. I preferred it was just Charles Wells. You don't need to appease people, because for some bizarre reason everyone hates hipsters anyway, even though what is a hipster? It's about 8 different looks of people. I don't really understand what one is. It's just...
Do you know would you like to hear my favourite story about a hipster?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
So in summary, to cut you off, support pubs by takeaway beer.
Support pubs by their takeaway beers.
Secondarily, my favourite story about a hipster that I read, I think it was about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. So there was an article, it was maybe a blog post, or it was possibly on like an online magazine. Someone had written about the phenomenon of hipsters and how by trying to be different they end up all the same. And that was the whole point of the article, was to kind of take the piss a little bit and say, you know, by trying to stand out, you've ended up as this like kind of amalgamation of just all of the same person. They weren't having a dig. They weren't even saying that that was a bad thing, but that was the gist of it.
It's true.
Anyway, they used some images among their writing, and this bloke that was reading the article was scrolling through and probably getting a little bit irate because it sounds a bit like me. It's a bit close to home. And then he saw a picture and he went, "That's me. That's 100% me," and emailed them, and he said, how dare you use a picture of me without my permission? You're not that's absolutely against the law. I'm going to get people involved, blah, blah, blah. I'm furious. How dare you use a picture? And especially in an article that I don't even believe, I don't even agree with you. And so the people behind the website did a little check. They went to their department of, I don't know, fucking copyright or something, and they looked and they found the stock artist that took the photo, and they got in touch with the stock model that was in the photo, and it wasn't him. And it was just a stock picture called Hipster. And then this man was saying, "We're not all the same, we don't all look like that, but how dare you use my photograph?" And it wasn't his photograph, and that's the best thing I've ever heard in the last 3 years.
I remember that. I absolutely pissed myself when I saw that. That was fucking hilarious. What a dickhead.
What a dick. What an entitled little prick.
You've unproven your own point you were trying to make by being a moron.
Also, and in general, like, just fucking like, one thing, I've always had this bizarre thing, like, there's been a lot of hatred for hipsters for probably about like 8 years or something now, or something. It's a long time. Yeah. I don't really understand what anyone's issue is. Like, oh, you like wear check shirts and have a beard because it makes you look cooler. Doesn't everyone wear clothes because they think like makes them look good? Isn't that like why people buy clothes?
What I remember is that it was only about 3 or 4 years ago that we decided that the word metrosexual was okay as a descriptor for men that watch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you can all just you can all take care of yourselves and grow a beard, wear your boaters. That's what makes you happy. You don't need a word for it. Hipsters are fine.
Yeah. In my younger days, I was not necessarily one of these dickheads, but I was a bit more dickheadish, where I thought like things like moisturizing were feminine, which, like, looking back on it now, I think, what the fuck were you thinking? Oh, so what's
skin? That makes
is
me
dry
a
skin
girl.
cool as fuck? Like, oh, you're well scaly, you're fucking awesome. Like, what the fuck?
Like
Like,
a lizard.
I can't
moisturised
even
about 15
believe
minutes
I
before
ever
this
said
podcast.
anything.
I want my skin to look its best.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good man. I moisturised, well, the top of this fucking crimson dome is this. I look pretty red on this.
It's not crimson. It's like lovely.
No, thank you. I don't know. I haven't been out in the sun. Well, there is no sun.
No, well, there
Te-
has been
technically
El
there is one.
Terrible.
Yeah, but no, yeah, moisturize. If you've got dry skin, fucking put some moisturizer in it. Why the fuck wouldn't you?
Also,
Take a bath. It's okay.
do what you like, as long as it's not hurting anyone else, and it's, you know, be who you want to be.
That's the main message.
Oh, I had
would
a
say that's
I
my
had
good
a
message of the last couple of weeks. Don't hurt anyone. Don't be a dickhead. Also, have a bath.
Yeah.
I saw that like do what you want thing. Like I had one, you know, like Facebook memories. The main thing I actually do on Facebook is I look each day like, oh, what happened like several years ago? I quite look them. I actually had a good one with something that Bob posted actually. It was like when me and him were out drunk several years ago. I forgot how many years ago it was now. But it was just like my random, occasionally he posts like my random drunk words of wisdom. And
Go on.
one of them was, I think, make sure I try and get the quote right this time. I could probably edit if I get it wrong. But actually, no, I won't. I'll just, whatever I say.
Go for it.
It was, so like, do whatever you want. Just maybe do it less during the week.
Excellent.
I think that works. It's a very apt way to live your life.
That's an excellent nugget. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
Well, and on that bombshell, we will move to the next segment, which is
the next segment.
The pairing. So,
everybody vogue. Cool. Okay. Who would like to go first?
You guys.
I'll go first. I've got a pairing. I've got
one too. I'm actually prepared. I'm prepared.
You're prepared. Podcast over. We've already won. There we go. Joke of the year.
I don't get it.
See ya. Bye. Okay. So my pairing.
Yeah, go for it.
So you may recall at the beginning of this.
I got the joke. Sorry about that.
There we go. Oh, did you really not get it? I thought you were taking the piss. Yes. There we go. We've just won twice.
What a cunt.
Easy goes to...
It's been a long week. Carl, what's your pairing?
Here we go. So you may remember at the beginning of this podcast, I said that the wine that I'm drinking has quite an aftertaste and lingers in the mouth. So there is an artist and a particular album that has lingered within my mind ever since I first heard its beautiful, beautiful tones.
Oh, wow.
And this is an album that's very special to me, not only because I know the artist, but because when I was first introduced to him, I was told that I was going to love this artist. And by George, the person who told me that was absolutely correct. So I pair my wine with Mr. Ed Poole, a firm favourite of mine. I was listening to his album today, and his debut album, which came out maybe a year ago in February, I think? Was it 2 years?
No, it's got to be a year.
I've only known him for about a year, so I'm not quite sure.
While I'm talking, I'm actually gonna Google it.
I think it's a year.
Is it a year?
I think so.
Call it a year.
His
what's it called?
It is called Envelope Embrace. Oh my god, Ed, I'm so sorry.
This is these questions. Prepared.
I did say I was prepared. I mean, I knew the album I was talking about. I listened to it earlier. I think I'm getting it. I'm getting half the name confused with. There we go. Here we go. Envelope Erase. Sorry, Ed. That's really bad of me. That's really bad that I forgot. I knew it had envelope in it, which I used to think when I first bought it was envelope, because apparently I can't read. But yeah, from start to finish, that album is absolutely fantastic, and it is just
It is
so good. It is a cook's kiss. Mwah.
Yes, there you go. I quite often find myself humming or whistling or making up different lyrics to his songs, but to the same tune. My housemate Ben will tell you that. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Well done, Ed. Well done. You are a very, very talented man, and I love you.
And so nice.
And so
You should
nice.
even
He's
if you
such a
don't like the
fucking
music,
awesome
you
dude.
should just listen to it because it's good to support a nice man, and he is that 10 out of 10 nice man.
Yeah,
We'll
link it.
He's a
We'll
10
link
out
it
of
down
10
here.
nice man.
He is, and he's very handsome.
He is a handsome fella.
He is a handsome fella.
But that's my pairing. Apologies for getting the album name wrong, Ed. I'm so sorry.
That's he'll forgive you. He's nice.
He will.
If he doesn't forgive you, then we will revoke our 10 out of 10 nice man review of him.
Easily.
No.
He'll become a 9 out of 10.
No, if he doesn't forgive me, I will fully accept that with gusto.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So, my one. I'm going to pour a little more in here while it's go. So,
What a good idea.
indeed.
Oh, yeah,
indeed.
that is a good idea.
Actually, before I do, how's the wine working out for everyone? Good? Yeah? Everyone all right with theirs?
Oh, yeah, we haven't done that
Doesn't
yet.
seem
Yeah,
like-
I'm really enjoying mine.
I'm fucking loving mine. I'm having such
It's
a
going
lovely
down
time
very
with this
easy.
wine.
I'm enjoying myself a lot.
I'm loving
I have
this.
noticed
Almost. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Daryl.
My hand go up slightly more often. I thought, oh God, no, this is embarrassing. Come on, girl.
I'm trying to not drink it all really like before we finish, to be honest. I'm really enjoying this. So I would happily just smash this back. But anyway, so mine is, I'm going to go for Caligula by Lingua Ignota. So do you either
Richard
of you know who
Caligula?
that is? Not Richard Caligula.
Okay.
It's just called Caligula. More likely about the Roman emperor.
Not about my D&D character.
That's what it
No, your
means.
D&D character. Yeah.
Okay.
So so Lingua Ignota is sort of female solo artist. She's absolutely amazing. She just goes Kristen Hayter, I think is her real name. She goes under the stage name of Lingua Ignota. She is this insanely talented and just intense performance. Like her albums are basically just, how do I describe them? They're kind of like, it's mostly just like, they're very classical based, but would be classed as almost as extreme music. So like she will like play a piano and she will just scream emotion or sing emotion in these most bizarre, horribly layered harmonies where they aren't necessarily in tune with each other, but when all sort of combined together, create this like horrific yet very passionate chorus of voice. So the reason why I'm linking that to this wine is the subject matter is incredibly dark all the time. She sings a lot about things like she's had a history of like sexual abuse and assault and has had like very dark times in her life. And this wine is like incredibly dark. It feels like, I've used this metaphor, this description before. There's a lot of layers to it. Like when you have a sip, I'm gonna have a sip. When you have a sip, it's like you get a nice initial flavor, but then it becomes more complex the further into it you go. So the deeper into this bottle of wine I'm going, the more flavors I'm kind of getting. So just there's so much other than it's like attractive sort of for a wine term body to the wine, that it's just, there's so much more to it and there's a lot of left with it. And I'm left with a really strong aftertaste. I did mention that before. There's a really long finish, I guess it's called. And that's what you get when you listen to Lingua Ignota. You get it sticks with you. Like some of her lyrics that she will basically scream in your face will stick with you forever. Like there is a line in one of her songs where like basically, I sleep next to my rapist.
Whoa, Jesus Christ.
So things there's like, obviously that's not a good thing. I'm meaning this is a good thing as it pairs with the wine. I really enjoy the wine.
I really understand what you mean.
Music should make you feel things and it should have a lasting impact. And I can't think of any artist in the last few years that have more of a lasting impact on me than Lingua Ignota. She's absolutely amazing. I can't speak highly enough of her. Think she's great. I was so pissed off earlier this year when I couldn't get to go and see her because it was either this year or the end of last year. I can't remember which it was. but the gig was sold out, and I like put myself on the waiting list, and I was just scouring Facebook every day to try and go and see her. When she plays, it's just her and the piano. There's one light in the room. It's just like a strip light, and she fucking carries it around, and it's attached to a microphone. And everything else is covered in like plastic. It looks like Dexter's Kill Room. It's the most insane fucking thing, and I wish I could have been there. But 2 friends who went, they said it was amazing, because of course it fucking was. Yeah, Lingua Ignota, Caligula, she's incredible. Fucking check her out. Listen, it's something worthwhile listening to that will hit you on every level.
See, this is the thing with the pairings of wines and stuff. If I go first, Boomer should go last. So there's a breakup between my, I really like this person, to his really descriptive reason for pairing. Or if he goes first, I should go last.
Tell you what, Cal, hot take. Why don't you just get better?
Or that. Fair enough.
Daryl, what you got?
No, your passion comes through. Your passion for the album comes through.
I just love music so much, and Lingua Ignota so much. She's great.
So my pairing is, I thought, okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to come on here. I'm going to selflessly, I've had some wine. I'm going to promote myself. And so when I think about myself and my journey through, you know, I moved away from home 10 years ago, moved to Cambridge, found my home, and started kind of worming my way into the kind of the music scene and the artist scene and all of that. And it's if you can't gather, it's just the thing that I really, really love. And when I think about that, I think about one band in particular, not even necessarily above other bands from Cambridge. I've actually found this really, really difficult to think of. I wanted to pick a local band. I knew that.
Okay.
One that when I drank my wine, I went, yeah, I could listen to that EP. Yeah. But I also wanted to pick something that I really, really thought deserved having a mention. And there were some bands that are just already doing so well for themselves. I think, you know, you don't need me to mention this on whatever. Anyway, I really overthought this. And what I came to go with my jam shed is a band that I put on years and years ago. I saw them, they were playing, I'd finished being a student, and they were playing as their first iteration in the student union bar at the time for something for their faculty. It was some nonsense like party for the art students or some shit like that, like, and they stood on stage and they absolutely blew me away. And I walked immediately, as soon as they finished, I just immediately marched over to them and I was like, play for me. Like, not now, I mean now if you want to, not now though, but like, you can't leave until we've exchanged details, like you guys have to play for me. Anyway, now fast forward however many years it's been, several years since then, they're doing so well for themselves. They've got a couple of EPs out, they play across the country, they're so charismatic, and there is genuinely not a show that you will go to that has the same kind of energy that they bring. And so I wanted to pair with my jam shed the Lights EP from History and Law.
Right, yeah.
So they actually do have another more recent EP. They've got one only from this year, which I would love to pair that one instead. But that EP, the Lights EP from 2 years ago, just really, really like, that's what reminds me of being in a room full of people that are there just loving music. Like the vocals, if you've not listened to History and Law, their vocals are so unique. Danny, the lead guy's vocals are so unique, and the passion of like all of them mixed with those really unique vocals and like the talent from every single of the members, you can't not get into it. You just can't. But also the music itself is even just really good. Like, even if they were all dickheads, I'd still say the music was just really, really nice. So yeah, that's that. And they're local to Cambridge. I think one of their members now lives in Norwich. You know, they've moved. they've moved around, but they've really grown as a band from that first time where I ran across like basically what felt like the school hall and was like, play for me. What they are now is insane. It's amazing. They're so good. They didn't need me to go and shake them and say play for me. They knew they were going to just keep working and working.
Awesome.
Another great pairing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Also,
Cal, you need to get better.
Just to add,
Yeah, I really do.
That,
I put on a voice.
just to show that how you really do even need to try more. The first time that I even tried Jamshed was in the presence of the bass player from History and Law. So,
well, there you go. That's
like,
you're pairing on so many levels.
An onion time.
There we go.
It's past any time.
Donkey!
I've now just pictured that horrible Shrek video you showed me.
Yes.
You know the one, Daryl.
Don't share that. Don't share that. We're immediately
there will be no
Carl
links in the description for that horrible Shrek sex video.
Don't listen to Carl.
If you know it, you know it. You know, I'm just saying. Okay. So yeah, great pairing, guys. I'll get better. Maybe I'll just do more voices. That's all I've got, really. Yeah. So the final piece of our time together.
The pièce de résistance.
Ooh.
It's just
I regret
the
that
tip.
immediately.
Ding, 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 ding. It's tip time. It's tip time. Give us your tips. And as I think we did with our two previous guests, Daryl, I mean, Bob did his tip right at the beginning of the show. But Daryl, what's your tip for the people listening, watching? You can pass to another player.
I pass. Right. If anyone watching has ever eaten with me, you know I say come back to me at the end. So I'm going to do that.
Okay. Yeah. Boomer?
I did not prepare for this.
I've got one.
I pass.
Okay. And it falls to me.
Pass.
So I'm going to give maybe a bit of a niche tip. So I am, as I'm sure I've mentioned before, I'm a bit of a nerd. I like Meridian games. I like to play them, and I like to play the bloody consoles and all that lot. But so in this time of social distancing, why not go the extra mile? I don't know why I said that. No, so obviously the lockdown measures have been lifted a tiny bit, and you can do various things and not do other things. And I still don't really. I'm just staying at home. But I do play kind of two MMO RPGs or multiplayer online RPGs, role-playing games. One of them being Final Fantasy XIV, and the other one being Star Wars: The Old Republic, which I think I mentioned on the episode with Bob. Yeah. And obviously, you can play them, and you can talk to people all around the world. For example, Old Republic is free to play, but certain things you can't do. Final Fantasy XIV is free to play up until level 30, I think. I pay monthly for both of them because I'm a nerd, if I hadn't mentioned that already. But it also gives you a chance to, you do like quests with people, and you can form parties and go and hunt monsters and all sorts of, the classic sort of Big Bang Theory stuff. Don't do
that.
Yeah, I shouldn't have referenced that because I fucking hate the Big Bang Theory. But it's really fun, and although you're not there with people, it's a sense of, it's another world, it's another self. You can be this adventurer. You can have a bit of fun. I actually did pose the option to a couple of friends of mine to maybe sign up to one of them, and we can all do like questing together. It's not for everyone, so it didn't really take off, and that's fine. But yeah, I occasionally like to dip in.
I'll quest with you, Cal.
Oh. You don't have a games console, though, do you?
I don't actually have one, no. Do I need a console?
No, you need a laptop that can run it, though.
I've got a laptop.
No, there you go. Maybe
we'll
we
discuss
can
this later.
question together. Yeah,
maybe it'll work.
But yeah, no, it's just a bit of fun. Even if you're doing it alone or with people, it's a bit of escapism. And you know, as long as you don't get your life sucked away, it can be a bit healthy to transport yourself into these fantasy worlds and have a bit of fun. I like it. I've got some sort of crazy high level on Final Fantasy 14. Not so much on Star Wars. I need to do a bit more of that, because as much as I love doing that, I actually end up doing a lot of other stuff in my free time, like this, which I really, really love. In fact, that's my other tip. Start a podcast. This is great.
Yeah, do it.
But yeah, that's my tip. It might not be a great one for everyone, but that's my tip for this week.
Nice.
Back to you in the studio.
As soon as I passed it, I thought of one. And then you said it was because you were a nerd. And mine is also because I'm a different type of nerd. So I've discovered this amazing service lately called, I'm a big anime nerd. So I fucking love my anime, I love my manga, all this type of shit. Fucking love it. So I didn't get to finish the, there's a anime and manga series called Bleach. And I never got to finish the, I guess third arc. There's several, they split it into different arcs, but basically the third arc is sort of the Bounce arc, the Bounce attack. And
it's not very good.
No, it wasn't. So it really lost. It felt like it was repeating the second arc, which is the Amazing Soul Society arc.
Yes. Yeah.
So I kind of lost patience with it and decided to cancel my Crunchyroll subscription, because I was kind of paying for it and not really using it. So I never finished the Bounce arc. But I discovered online there's this, if you go on Google Play, there's an app called Anime Prime. Now, I guess I probably shouldn't be out in this, but sorry, not that many people are watching, so it's all right. So we're not going to get caught. So, but if you watch it, it's all for free. Basically, fucking all the anime's on there, and it's all for fucking free. And you just watch it. You can't cast it to your telly. That's annoying. But you can watch. I watched the end of the Bounce arc, all for free on my tablet. And yeah, it's an underwhelming arc, to be honest. But I'm now on the next one, and it's picking up. It seems more interesting. I won't say things that have happened in case people are into Bleach and they've only got as far as I have or they want to start. Yeah, watch Bleach. It's really good. But yeah, there's loads of stuff on there. I think Dragon Ball Super's on there maybe. And I assume Dragon Ball Z is kind of stuff. Yeah, so there's loads of stuff on there. I haven't really explored it much. I just heard that Bleach was on there. So I watched that so I could watch Bleach. So Anime Prime on Google Play. That is my tip.
Can I ask a question of you, Boomer, just about Bleach? Because I used to watch Bleach. I got as far as the Bounce arc a long time ago, and I stopped watching because they stopped releasing the DVDs in HMV where I worked.
Okay.
Are you watching it dubbed or with subtitles?
I've watched it half and half. So I was watching it on Crunchyroll subtitled, but due to my laziness, I was watching it dubbed on Anime Prime, because they have the dubs and the subtitled versions on there.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
But so I watched it.
Yes, I can.
So I watched it dubbed. So you got Johnny Young Bosch as Ichigo, and I forget the rest. But did you happen to pick up, like I did, that it gets to a point where every time there's a confrontation, someone will say something, and it's normally Ichigo who's like, "What did you just say?" And then the person he's having the confrontation will be like, "Huh, that's funny. I thought you would have heard me the first time. For your sake, I'll repeat myself." And then they just repeat the same thing over and over again.
I have noticed that. They do. That is the thing. But the one good thing about the Japanese one is all the mod souls in their little backpack form, because they'll end up having to be crammed into these weird little animal backpacks, so they're easy to carry around. Their arguments are fucking hilarious in Japanese and slightly less funny in English. They're more funny in Japanese. The voice acting's better, which is a really odd thing. Anyway, so we have less than 5 minutes left of this Zoom call. So Daryl, we need your tip.
Oh, my tip's easy. My number one thing is I'm going to get up and open my curtain slightly more. You can edit this out. Okay, here's my tip. Everything's shit, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, not if this isn't
Yes,
shit.
yes.
This
Well,
is good,
I mean,
but yeah.
Exaggeration.
Let me
but yes.
rephrase that. There's a lot of shit around right now.
There
Yes,
we go.
that's true. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Preach it.
Obviously, there's quite a lot that we can be doing.
Yeah.
There's a lot that we can be not doing. I think we should do quite a lot more of this, a lot more of like this, like speak to our fellow friends. That's my tip. But my real tip is go and do some reading, because I am a third kind of nerd, and that's a book nerd. If you can,
Love it.
have a little see. So I wanted to recommend 2 books. Is that allowed?
Yes, of
Yep.
course.
You have
I
3
recommend
minutes and
2 books.
32 seconds. Go for it.
Here's my books. My first book that I think is very important, and that if you've got time during lockdown at the moment, get it ordered. Don't care if you're putting money in pockets of billionaires, just buy the book and read it, because what you learn from reading it is more important than where your money goes. Just get it in your brain. That's the big thing. And I think that everyone during lockdown should take the time to read the book We Should All Be Feminists, which is by a Nigerian woman writer. And I think right now that is so important, that we just absorb as much as we can from people of colour about the sorts of shit that is going on in the world, but also about where we've come from as well. And I think anyone, let's just get this out there. Anyone watching this that sits there and they says, I'm not a feminist, you can either change that or you can fuck off. And that's the end of it. But one of the really good ways that you can, start that journey is by educating yourself. And one of the things that you can do about that is by reading We Should All Be Feminists. It's really, really thin. So it's like literally this thin. So it's so accessible. It's so easy to read it and go, yeah, all right, I understand that now. But also it's written in the perspective of a woman of colour, which just adds so much more to what you are learning. My number two tip, if that seems all a bit heavy for you, if you're like, oh, I'm not quite sure if I want women to be humans, then my next tip is a book that I've read during lockdown, which was just one of the best books that I've read in my whole life, period, which was How to Be a Boy by Robert Webb.
Yes, I've seen this advertised. Yep.
I think it's, as a woman, as someone who has not been brought up to have the same kind of masculine ideals and to be concerned about the same things that men are concerned about, it was exceedingly eye-opening for me. But also as someone that will unabashedly say that they fancy the frigging pants off of Robert Webb, like, it was really nice to view him as a human being. Like, not just as like incredibly talented writer and comedian, but as someone who has been through hardships of their own, but a lot of those that relate to his gender and sexuality, which I think is really, really important. And if the really big heavy stuff is going to weigh down on your mental health right now, like a lot of things in lockdown don't do it. That's okay. Like, you've got your whole life to learn, and that's fine. But what you can do is like reach out and read quite a light-hearted book that reviews the sorts of things that are playing on your masculinity. And yeah, my tip is read, period. Drink and read. They're my books. Thank you.
So we have less than a minute here. Shall we?
Yeah. Goodbye from me, Boomer.
And it's goodbye from me, Cal. Thank you, Daryl, for joining us. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you. And everyone, stay fantastic.
Wine left.